Today we're going to speak about self-forgiveness. Because maybe you might be quite self-critical, self-judgmental. And you might realize, yeah, this is kind of dysfunctional. It's actually not very conscious of me to be like this. For a long time, I did a lot of spiritual work. And yet I was very, very judgmental and harsh and critical of myself. Big blind spot. I've still got it, right? But in the past 6 months or so, I've started to do this work with self-forgiveness. It's given me this interesting power to be able to be loving and forgiving of myself. Even when I do stuff that I wouldn't consider me, or I wouldn't consider something I want to be doing, right? I can just have that self-forgiveness. But really what's interesting is it's changed my character. I've become someone different on the level of identity. I used to think I was just a very masculine person, at least I wanted to be, I think, maybe out of insecurity perhaps. But now I literally tell people, yeah, no, I'm actually quite feminine. I'm very compassionate. I'm very forgiving of myself and others. So I want to share that with you because it's not just the case that you start to be less harsh on yourself. You might change altogether as a person. Here's a question on that. How does that feel? For me, it feels disarming. It feels softening. It feels relaxing. Because I'm protecting less with my masculine gurness. I'm striving less with less sort of extreme discipline, harsh, absolute, rigid thinking and mentality. I'm just softening. And then what I've seen is when I speak to myself, I'm not using language that's really harsh. I'm not using really self-critical language. I used to swear at myself, and I still kind of do sometimes. Mostly in a way to kind of spur me on and wake me up. And I've got that, that masculine fucking But that's a part of me, and I'm recognizing that. But what we're talking about now, we could say, is the other side of the coin. It's that kind of feminine grace, gentleness, self-compassion. And here's another interesting point. I've noticed how I am with others is also a lot more gentle and forgiving. Because obviously, when you're speaking to someone else, really, that's just you, projected, yeah? And so I've noticed, whether it be with friends, family members, even clients, I'm more compassionate. For me, knowing myself, I know this is the way forward because I can feel it makes me less selfish. When I'm softer, and this is interesting actually, I'm glad I said that, soft. The way in which I'm using it here is not a kind of, he's a fucking soft piece of shit, or he's a pussy. It's he or she is soft and gentle. They're soft, they're tender, they're warm. This is how I'm using this piece of language, this word, soft, because I know people, say that a lot. Even I used to say that, that person's soft or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. You can use that word in that way if you wanted to. What I'm trying to draw your attention to is how you can become more conscious by being more self-forgiving. And when you are being conscious, the way in which you feel language and perceive language is different. It's got a more conscious quality to it. So, this word soft that we picked up, we're hearing it and experiencing it in the conscious and compassionate way, not the belittling and judgmental way.